Have you ever wished to be unshakable? Someone immune to criticism, rejection, or betrayal? Tired of the silent pain eating you up while pretending to be strong? Exhausted from pleasing everyone and maintaining an untouchable image? Maybe you just crave rest from the pressure. Let me tell you the hard truth. No one says avoiding pain only lets it control you, numbing yourself, hiding, protecting yourself. It makes you a hostage to hurtful words, disappointing actions, and crushing silence. This isn't weakness. It's human. Some just pretend better. Carl Jung taught us, we are not what happens to us, but what we choose to become. The key isn't shielding yourself or becoming cold and indifferent. It's integration, bringing what affects you in the dark into the light. True strength isn't the absence of pain. It's full self-awareness, even when bleeding. If you're here, it's no accident. You're tired of hurting, feeling emotionally disadvantaged, like others hold power over you. It doesn't have to be this way, but freedom requires facing painful truths. You believe your pain comes from outside, others' actions, hurtful words, abandonment, betrayal. But the brutal truth, none of this can hurt you unless it touches an open wound inside you. What hurts is what these experiences activate within you. The story you tell yourself, old unaddressed trauma, the emptiness disguised by strength or pride. Jung showed that external pain reflects unintegrated parts of our inner world. That's why some withstand devastation, while others crumble at a comment. It's not what happens, but where it hits you. Here's the uncomfortable truth: you suffer because, deep down, you believe you can control how the world treats you. You try to be good enough, strong enough, hoping it guarantees no hurt. But control is an illusion. Clinging to it creates constant tension, predicting the unpredictable, avoiding the inevitable. Want to stop suffering? Stop protecting yourself from suffering. You don't need more control. You need more awareness. As long as you think others must change for your pain to stop, you remain enslaved by them. Your freedom begins when you understand. External events only have power if they find an echo within you. This is the true battlefield. The unconscious, what you don't see, understand, or master, masters you. This is where we dive deeper. The biggest lie, that you're in control of your life. You're not while living on autopilot, reacting without knowing why, sabotaging yourself. Jung was clear: until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. That's your reality now. Your pain, sudden anger, unexplained sadness, not random. They are messages from forgotten, ignored, repressed parts of yourself. Jung called this the unconscious, an active force of memories, trauma, desires, and fears you avoid, yet it dictates your feelings and actions. Why do certain words destroy you but not others? They touch sensitive, unhealed points within you that you've never confronted, only swept under the rug. You keep tripping over them. Jung warned, we cannot change anything until we accept it. Condemnation does not liberate, it oppresses. What have you done? Judged, repressed, silenced yourself. But the unconscious doesn't vanish when ignored. It manifests dangerously in toxic relationships you repeat, self-sabotage patterns you can't break, anxieties that erupt when life seems good. This isn't bad luck. It's your unconscious screaming to be heard while you insist on sleeping. Want to stop being hurt? Stop running from what's inside you. As long as you don't know you're unconscious, you're an emotional puppet. The more you shield yourself from external pain, the more vulnerable you become to internal pain. But there's a way out, not defense, but integration. Becoming unshaken isn't resistance. It's deep self-knowledge. Most believe avoiding hurt means closing off, building walls, masks, emotional armor. I don't care, nothing gets to me, but inside, they still bleed and corrode. The problem isn't feeling. It's not knowing what you feel and why. This happens only to those who don't know themselves. Jung stated, know all the theories, master all the techniques, but when touching a human soul, be just another human soul. That soul you hide behind a strong, invulnerable mask is screaming to be seen. Emotional strength isn't coldness, ignoring pain, avoiding conflict, or pretending not to care. It's integrating, accepting, bringing what you've buried into the light. You don't become untouchable by barricading yourself from the world. You become untouchable when you realize no one can touch what you've already embraced within yourself. When you integrate your shadows, fears, flaws, and insecurities, you stop reacting. You observe. You choose. You're no longer an emotional puppet. That's true freedom. Jung called this individuation, becoming who you truly are, not others' expectations, not what you think you should be to be accepted, but what emerges from within through the meeting of light and shadow, ego and unconscious. Individuation isn't perfection, Jung said, but integration. You don't need to be better. You need to be whole. Here's the secret: the more you run from pain, the more it chases you. The more you try not to be affected, the more fragile you become. But when you face your wounds, accept yourself beautiful and ugly, noble and shameful, nothing outside can dismantle you. This path demands courage, courage to look within, abandon masks and feel. Pain holds the key to transformation. Suffering, far from an enemy, is the gateway to true strength. Let's dive deeper without fear. You learn to hate pain early. Suffering means weakness, crying wastes time, feeling makes you vulnerable. So you ran, avoided, denied, but ignored. Pain doesn't vanish. It digs tunnels inside you, disguised as anxiety, anger, apathy, boredom, self-destruction, until everything collapses. Jung saw suffering differently. Pain is the soul's messenger, the unconscious's alarm, the language your true self uses to get your attention. He said, depression is like a lady in black. If she appears, don't push her away. Invite her to sit down, offer her coffee, and listen, but you don't listen. You silence, distract, numb yourself to avoid what matters. What is this pain trying to show you? Suffering hurts intensely because you're at war with yourself. One part wants to grow. Another clings to the familiar. Something cries for transformation, but your control-hungry ego tries to suffocate it. This friction is the pain. Change hurts. Growth hurts. Letting go of old beliefs, cutting toxic TIs, allowing what no longer serves you to die. This is mourning, an internal death and rebirth. It's in this space of ruin that something new is born. When certainties crumble, pain exposes your vulnerability. You finally see who you truly are. No protection, no performance, no mask. Here, suffering becomes sacred. It brings you to your knees before the only thing that can free you, yourself. Jung knew suffering isn't a system failure. It's part of the process. Pain isn't the end. It's the start of the journey toward individuation. Most give up before crossing the dark valley. But if you're here, you're ready. Few have the courage to begin individuation. Fewer finish it. It promises no comfort, no guarantees. It doesn't protect your ego. It destroys it. Individuation means unlearning who you think you are, and that hurts more than any rejection. You realize your achievements, traumas, the image you built for love or respect, these were illusions created to survive. Surviving isn't living. Individuation is life's call beyond survival. Individuation is when the unconscious pushes repressed, hidden, distorted parts to the surface. It demands dissolving your persona, Jung's term for the mask of collective convenience. You must tear off your own skin to discover what lies beneath. This is how you become unshaken, not because nothing affects you, but because you've faced the fire, confronted your monsters, looked into your shame, neediness, and anger, and said, I see you. You no longer control me. This internal clarity, this lucidity before your own darkness, grants strength independent of approval, recognition, or control. You no longer need universal love to win every argument or appear strong. You know who you are. No one can take that. True emotional armor isn't a shell, it's a core. It's integrating all parts into an unshakable center of consciousness. You may feel pain, but it doesn't break you. You may be hurt, but you don't lose yourself. You stop being reactive. You become whole. You stop living superficially. You inhabit the depths. This depth demands a price, loneliness, not isolation, but the realization that few can join this journey. Most are trapped on the surface, masked, afraid to feel. Freeing yourself inevitably creates distance. This isn't pride, it's maturation. You no longer fit where you once hid. This brings us to the end. Consciousness is your shield, not strength, but clarity protects you. Nothing shields you from external suffering if you remain unconscious of your inner world. Words will sting, rejections wound, losses devastate until you awaken. Awakening is a daily choice. Look within, even when it hurts. Take responsibility for your feelings without blaming others, the past, or fate. True emotional immunity isn't hardness. It's clarity, not armor. It's expanded awareness. When you understand your triggers, patterns, and wounds, others' actions lose their destructive power. You still feel, but don't drown. You still suffer, but don't lose yourself. That changes everything. What shields you isn't protection from life. It's diving deeply into it, Surface dwellers are battered by every wave. Divers find silence, stability, and power below. That's your destination. Live from that place of integration, presence, and acceptance. The world may try to knock you down, but it finds nowhere to hit. Your course stands unshaken.